Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where last episode we put our colony core up in orbit over Kerbin, and we're just going to assemble the rest of the colony up here right now. So let's go ahead and head on back to the Space Center. Of course, we are not going to be reverting this flight, but we do need to make some slight modifications to the rest of the vehicle here. So let's go ahead and load on in one of these as soon as KSP decides to load, and we should probably check the contracts as long as we're here. So let's see what we've got here. Anything good? Not really. There's this contract fundamentally again, although it needs a Science Junior instead of a Resource Survey Scanner. Realistically, it's equatorial. We could do this. It's a good amount of cash. It's not the worst idea, but I don't think right now is when we're going to do it. Out of curiosity, I'm going to accept this. I'm wondering if our colony will actually count. We'll have a Science Junior on there. Or actually, it'll have to be launched after we accept the contract, won't it? Let me double check that. It must be a new probe built after the contract is accepted. Yeah. But we're going to be assembling it in orbit. I wonder if that's going to... We might be able to finagle this to work. We'll see. I'm going to hop into the tracking station here. I hold very little hope for this right now, but I want to check to see how much of this we actually qualify for. We're going to have to put the Science Junior on, of course. And holding that stationary position would be somewhat exciting, but it's fine. This counts as a new outpost that has antenna, has a docking port, and can generate power. The outpost must be... Oh, the surface outpost must be fully assembled when launched. That's interesting. So perhaps assembling this in orbit isn't going to work? Wacky. If we have to send a new outpost that fits this, we can do that. But what I wanted to check is, yeah, I didn't think that would work. So we're going to head back to the Space Center. We'll see about that. That whole fully assembled when launched thing, yikes. We may have to put up a second quote-unquote outpost. And that would mostly just be an unmanned thing that we would just drop to fulfill the contract real quick. But that's not a real colony. So we're going to hop into the VAB here. We need to get our science module up. The science module, I believe, is still awkward. Let's go ahead and open that. We're probably going to streamline it somewhat. And let's see here. It should be called Colony Science Module. Or Science Unit. Okay. We'll load that in. Yeah, this is still awkward. So we're definitely going to get rid of the Sky Crane concept. This is not what I meant to grab. We're going to undo that and get rid of this. There we go. And then we're going to make this Probodobonine hex the root part. So we're going to reroute like that. That'll do. And now we're going to get rid of our Sky Crane. So we'll get rid of this. And the radial decoupler. There we go. Now, this is going to have to be altered. No doubt about that. We're going to... Oh, that's very awkward. I suppose that would happen that way. Okay, so we're going to get rid of this decoupler here. And we're going to get rid of this cubic octagonal strut for sure. There we go. And then we've got our Science Junior, our service bay, and our docking port here. That's all well and good. We're going to drop the hex, and we're going to upgrade that to a remote guidance unit. But this will need to be a small remote guidance unit. And then we're going to put this together horizontally for the time being, although... You know what? I've changed my mind. We're going to flip these and put it on vertically. We know that we're wanting to do that anyway. So we're going to place this here, like that. And then we're going to grab this and rotate it to be something kind of like this, although this remote guidance unit is way too big. That's maybe okay. We grab these bits, put that on there, grab our docking port. I'm currently thinking about putting this... Oh, that's awkward. We could put it on like that. And then dock on like this. Grab our photovoltaic panels. Those should be realistically somewhere more along the lines of here. And I'd rather that be in mirror symmetry. So we'll get that switched on over. So in mirror symmetry, we would position it to be... Oh, that's awkward. It's choosing the wrong axis. Sure. I guess that makes sense. So we'll just have this then be in no symmetry mode. And we'll place it here. And we'll place it here. Correct? Correct. Okay, so that'll do. Now this docking port down here is going to remain like that, which will be slightly awkward, but we're of course going to need to ditch the decoupler here. We're going to switch this over to be a docking port that is docked together like so. And then we definitely ditch our mobility enhancer. There we go. And we're going to change these struts around for sure. These are going to be coming from up here to down here, like that. And we can ditch these struts. Those are not necessary, strictly speaking. And we could just have some struts just kind of chilling up here. Kind of like that. Intended to be used to lash it together. Cool. Okay, so we're now vertically launching this thing. That's all well and good. The next thing that we need here is a fairing. So we'll put in a fairing. A 2.5 meter is, I believe, the correct size here. And realistically, we want that to be below... Well, this is a docking port. I was going to say below the decoupler. There is no decoupler. So we just bring this up something like... That's way too big, isn't it? Something like that? Yeah, that'll do. And then we don't bring this down until about here. Like that. Maybe up here. There. That'll do. Cool. So there's our science module in position there. That should do reasonably fine. Anything else that we need to modify about this? And we will, of course, call this the VLGNA, low gravity, no atmosphere. There we go. Now, there's no sort of thrusters on this whatsoever. We have no real way to control attitude. And I would like to alter that. So we're going to grab this, and on top of this, we're going to put in an RCS tank. And that adds some height. No doubt about that. What if we were to do radial RCS tanks instead? Those exist, right? I'm pretty sure radial RCS tanks exist. Place anywhere... Yeah, these guys. So how much monoprop is that? 20? 20 monoprop. So if we were to compare that to, say, this, which has 400. I mean, yeah. It's tall, but... Or actually, it's wide, but not very tall. I'm looking for something that is... That's wide and tall. Yikes. We could modify our fairing here to be a little bit wackier looking and be something kind of like this. That's a possibility. Now at this point, these struts should be like up here, like that. We could even strut them together up here, but I don't think that's strictly speaking necessary. We could do it though. Like, that's not going to really help us all that much, but it'll be a decent temporary sort of thing. And then we would put some RCS thrusters on here. I'm just checking the ISP of these. They're all 240 vacuum. Okay, so it's purely cosmetic. Got it. We're going to put on 8 of these little thrusters. There's not going to be a lot of them, but we'll do something like that just to be able to steer ourselves in orbit. Now, the idea here is not that we land on this necessarily. can we pack this? It's currently packed with these. I'm thinking, can we pack something like twitches? Alternatively, I think we'll be fine. I'm pretty sure we can move poodles in space. It should be okay, moving poodles in orbit. I hope. We'll see. We'll see. As far as our landing goes, we're going to figure that out later. For now, we'll launch this, and it's definitely an awkward fairing, but let's go ahead and save this and get this on up there. So we're not targeting that 200-kilometer orbit that we did previously. This one, we're targeting a 100-kilometer orbit. There's no doubt about that. So let's go ahead and get this thing up there. We are not going to turn our RCS on, but we will turn our SAS on and throttle up as soon as we can. Okay, throttle up, SAS on. Double checking staging here because we did make some changes. Yep, this all looks good. This should be way more fuel than we need, to be honest. To be honest, I doubt we need this Rockamax X232, but we'll keep it with us until we have to jettison it. So this will be like a backup fuel supply. Because this is already a pretty short module, I think it'll be fine. Let's go ahead and take off here. Excellent. And we're going to start our downrange turn very shortly here. In fact, right now. Excellent. And let's just go ahead and lock to prograde now. Cool. And off we go. Now, could we have targeted this with better timing? Sure, but we're just targeting 100 kilometers. We'll circularize there and then do an interception. It won't be a big deal. No big deal at all. So up we go. How long do we have in our side boosters here? Another 50 seconds. Sounds good. 8-kilometer apoapsis, and we're definitely picking up a lot of horizontal speed, but that's exactly what we're looking to do here. I don't mind wasting some fuel to drag. This is completely fine. And we're not going to have any heat issues either. I'm just pulling our heading up here a bit, because we seem to be drifting off slightly, but it should be fine. There we go. We've got about 20 seconds left on this burn. And our apoapsis is not particularly high, but that's okay. We just want that horizontal speed for the time being. Beautiful. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Successful stage separation. Time to apoapsis increasing. Beautiful. Exactly what we wanted to see. We're right on the mark for our heading. And the atmosphere is beginning to thin. We're looking good. Excellent. 50 kilometers for our apoapsis. And we've got a good amount of burn left in this stage, but we will eventually be ditching it. I hope to not be docking up with this stage still attached. This is definitely more fuel than we need, but like I said, we're going to keep this as a backup fuel tank for as long as possible. So that'll be fine. Cool. So we're pushing this up to 100 kilometers is our target. I'm going to push it to like 103, I think. Something like that. We'll have a little bit of drag yet, but that's okay. So at this apoapsis, of course, we are going to circularize. Something along the lines of this. It's a little bit more delta V than I thought it would be, but it seems okay. Cool. How are we doing on our electric charge? We've got plenty. We can definitely deploy our fairing at this point. Beautiful. Okay. So now we're just coasting. We've got a bit of a coast stage here. And we could start heading over to our maneuver point while keeping an eye on our electric charge, but we should have plenty of electric charge here. I'm really not concerned about that. So we'll get set up for this. And we've got 1820 Delta V left in this tank. Yikes. We probably could have lifted this unfueled. Realistically. But this fuel tank is intended to be jettisoned later in life. And apparently we've got a telescoping hydraulic cylinder here. Huh. I forgot about that. That's a thing that exists. Cool. I guess it's fine. Sure. Wonder how long that's been there. So we're going to head on over here. And I'm just going to enter physics warp here so we can turn this a little bit faster. There we go. And we are going to have to do some inclination change, maybe. We'll see how that ends up going. Okay, we're in position here, and let's just warp on forward to get into orbit. 1 minute away. 20 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and mark. Excellent. This is definitely overkill on the fuel. We'll probably be dumping some. Okay. Let's just hit that a little bit more accurately. There, that'll do. Cool. So where are we in relation to the colony core right now? Okay, we'll set that as our target. Interestingly, the colony core is very close to the multi-satellite machine right now. That's fine for the moment, and we can see that we are off by 0.4 degrees in our inclination. So we'll just make a quick adjustment to that. Hey, I got it right for once. Excellent. We'll line up for that maneuver. And that's going to be in about 8 minutes. Cool. So we'll position for that. And I believe this is a lot of monoprop. We almost certainly don't need this amount. But I believe that this is lighter than our Sky Crane would have been. That'll definitely be the case later on. With some of those other modules that had dual tanks. It'll definitely be lighter than that. So that'll be okay. We're probably going to drop the 32 fuel tank in future launches, because I really don't think it's necessary. Okay, we're warping on forward here. I'm going to start this burn a little bit early, at about T-minus 10. So right about now. Cool. Just throttling it up a little bit here. That's probably good enough. Yes, that is good enough. Okay, so if we were to plot an intercept course, what would this look like if we did this here? I need to do it correctly. Okay. Not too bad. Not too bad at all, actually. So this is a relative separation of 13 kilometers. I'd like to dial that in a little bit. Let's see what we can do here. Maybe timing would be more effective right now. 12.8. Okay. We'll just dial this in a little bit. I'm guessing we're going to need a little radial. This should be close enough. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this. It'll be fine. We'll walk to that maneuver node. That'll be 15 minutes. As I'm realizing that I forgot to extend the solar panels. Luckily, we have decent batteries. We're going to extend this solar panel and this one as well. Not that they're going to get us any electric charge on this side of Kerbal, but it should be fine. Luckily, these batteries will keep us going for a good long time. No concerns there. So this is only going to be a 3-second burn. What's our relative velocity going to be here? 54 meters per second? Okay. That's not a lot of meters per second. We're definitely going to have some major overkill here. We could use this as all backup fuel as well, in theory. But this is going to be a lot of mass. It's very unwieldy. Yeah, we're definitely going to ditch this tank in future launches. It's going to be very unnecessary. This tank, and likely this engine as well. Yeah, we won't be needing that. So this entire stage will be removed for future launches. So that'll be okay. 30 seconds to go. 3, 2, 1, and mark. Okay. Sure. So it looks like we overshot slightly. 11.2 kilometers is close enough. 11.1? Yeah, that'll be fine. So we want to go into target mode here and go to retrograde. There we go. And we're just going to warp over to around here. Oh, we're in physics warp. We're going to come out of physics warp and warp to around here. Cool. And we're seeing this come together. That's exactly what we want to see. Fantastic. So we're just going to sit at target retrograde. We're going to try to push these nodes together. I am thinking that we need to jettison this at this time, though. It's a lot of fuel that we're wasting, and I don't like doing that. We will definitely make modifications to this system, but we're going to decouple this right now. It's just too much. We can't turn quickly enough, and I don't want to impact the core with this much mass. So we're definitely going to do that. We'll keep this around as a spare tank and a spare poodle, just in case. But for the moment, it should be fine. So let's go ahead and let's bring these together a little bit. So I'm just rotating us out over this direction, over towards the horizon, because we want to push this node. Oh, we've not activated this engine. That would help. Cool. So just a very minor push here. We are pushing the retrograde node over towards the target. So this is just a corrective burn here. Just trying to keep the target node on the screen right now. Boy, where is that target node? There it is. Cool. Okay. That was a pretty major corrective burn that took out basically all of our velocity towards the target node. So I didn't think that it would take quite that much to push it. In retrospect, I should have pulled the prograde node towards the target node. And that's what we're going to do now. We've got plenty of delta V in this, right? It's not like we have a shortage of delta V. Can we stop? Can we stop, please? I want to go towards the target. Thanks. Okay. I guess we'll bring it all the way around. This thing's got a lot of momentum to it. We'll bring it all the way around, and I'm just going to burn towards target here. I don't know where the prograde node is right now. But we're just going to burn this up to around... Ah, there it is. Cool. We'll get our prograde node moved onto the target marker. About like that. Fantastic. Now we're going to go directly to prograde. Man, this thing has a really hard time turning it. I guess we don't have a reaction wheel on here except for the one in the remote guidance unit. That's good to know. An alteration that can be made, for sure. Okay. So let's accelerate this up to a little bit. Separation of 0.7 kilometers. It's continuing to reduce. .4 kilometers. Pulling it out over this direction a bit. 0.3 kilometers. 0.2. Okay, we're 100 meters per second apart. Let's go ahead and get flipped. Cool. So we're going to physics warp as we flip on over. I'm not exactly sure. Ah, there it is. It's only 4 kilometers away right now. And we're definitely going to want to start our burn here soon. I want to push this node. So a quick corrective burn here. Okay. Trying to go down a bit, but that's good. There we go. And at this point, I do believe that we need to be braking. Okay. There we go. Just pushing the node ever so gently right now. Doing very small corrective burns. Cool. We'll just do something kind of like that. And then we'll park up over here. We could definitely target this node here. Or rather, this docking port here. Let's go ahead and brake a little bit more. There should be a docking port here anyway. Oh, right. It's currently over on this side. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. .4 meters per second apart. This is looking fine. We'll target this docking port. And man, this thing doesn't like to turn. An extra reaction wheel would be nice, but we do have the RCS on here. So we could steer with the RCS here. It's inverted. Noted. Okay. And then SAS back over to anti-target. In fact, we should flip over to target. And let's go ahead and control from here. Setting this guy as our target. And let's point at target. Beautiful. So we're going to need to alter our actual angling here in a moment. Let's just get this rotated on around. There we go. We're currently slightly upside down, and we don't necessarily want to be in this orientation. So we'll get that rotated. Cool. Something along the lines of this will do. RCS on. And just changing our velocity here. SAS back on, point at target. Excellent. Coming back over here, point at target is looking pretty good. Okay. So RCS is going to go on here. Or actually, I want to be pointing at that target. Okay. And let's accelerate ourselves forward to about 0.5 meter per second. There we go. Just adjusting our heading very, very gently. And it looks like our orientation is about correct. So let's bring this guy right on in. Beautiful. Making a few small trajectory adjustments. There we go. I think that should be close enough. And let's bring this on in. That was an interesting timing for an autosave. I like it. And there we go. Beautiful docking. Perfect. Now, of course, we're going to need to get the struts put together. This is going to be pretty waggly, as you can see. It's already waving all over. We're going to turn SAS off for the moment, and that'll be fine. It is past time to put a cut in here, though, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including Casserole, ALS Gamer, Kentuin, James, Shadowwolf, Mlohan80, Kentogan, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Kadra, Unisol, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.